And we are live. It's been a while. I've been very, very busy. I've been wanting to get on here and talk about a bunch of stuff. But tonight, the reason that we jumped on here, there is a reason. The reason is Auston got Illythia figures.
Yay!
I haven't gotten mine yet. Auston got his. He wants to do a live unboxing. I want to watch him unbox them live. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, excitement. That's what's going on.
You've been
Man, I
struggling
was so
for a few
excited when these
days.
got shipped. But yeah, they got stuck in customs for a week, but they're here. With us, we got Artemyss, we got Baron Volligar 2, and finally the one I'm most excited for, Krotos.
Krotos, yeah.
Yeah, so excited.
I mean, I'm excited for all of them. I haven't gotten any of mine yet. I am still patiently waiting. Facebook user says this had better be good. Was watching Floosh Weekly. Well, I don't. It depends on preference. If you like really amateur, with technical difficulties and background noise and bad lighting and not very great sound quality, we're the show to be watching for sure. Man, I just saw Auston Wilson all day. Can you blur his face or something? Well, he'll be showing the toys, so it won't be about our faces so much as it'll be about the toys. But one Naruto SKU shipped to me. I don't know what that is. That was Naruto as I got the notification on Big Bad Toy Store, which I promptly canceled. Okay. Well, on sort of related Illythia news, before we get into the unboxing, I just wanted to mention that Mike at eCollectibles is, believe it or not, gonna have a little bit of extra stuff. He held back a little bit of Illythia Wave stuff with the intention of releasing it for sale a little bit later. So stay tuned to ecollectibles.ca August 1st at noon Eastern time. If there's something that you missed, or you didn't get an order in, I mean, you've had a year to get an order in. But if you missed out on anything, be sure to be there noon August 1st, and you might be able to grab one of those last pieces that you missed. Austin, did you miss anything?
I pre-ordered most of the wave. The only ones I didn't pre-order were Afarius and the Moose. That was actually because of a matter of like space. But now I kind of rearranged some things. I have the space now, so
nice.
I'll if Mike's getting more, I'll pull the trigger because I know in a year's time when I go, I do want them. They're going to be like double. So get them now.
I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Alder was absolutely the first Mythic Legions figure that I saw, and I was like, well, I guess I'm getting into this line. So he was actually the first Mythic Legions item that I ever ordered, and then it snowballed from there, as it does, right? Aphorus, I was a little bit, I slept on a little bit, but again, it was because of space. But same thing. I decided that if I don't get it now, I'm gonna be paying the late fee, and I don't want to pay the late fee. If I get it and I change my mind, this is what I'm sort of justifying in my head. If I get it and I change my mind, I can always sell it. There's no way I'm gonna change my mind. That so good. But anyway, that's the news. So you still have a chance to get it if you didn't yet. The trolls, the All-Star trolls, are already up there and still available for pre-order as well. So if you didn't get those and you want to get those, by all means do that. But what we're really here for, Austin, let's open these figures up.
Oh yes. I'm going to go in order of my own personal hype. I'm hyped for all of them, but I'm going to start with Artemyss Silvercord because as cool as she is, but compared to the other two, she's the the one I'm the least hyped for. I'm still excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited for her because I just think that there's so much cool detail and so much cool sculpting going on there that I can't wait. Um, I'm gonna sit back.
I'm sure everyone has their own way of opening them. I pull the flaps on the bottom and just slide. That's the way I like to do it.
I think can I do this? There we go.
Oh, look at me. I get to do
Hey,
too.
now you don't have to look at my face.
There we go. There she is. Now let's untwist. Now, one thing I'm very curious about is 'cause I always give my Mythic Legions a bath.
Uh-huh.
Um, but of course, if they come with capes or anything, they're separate, so I don't put them on right away. So I can give them that bath.
Uh-huh.
But Artemyss already has hers on,
Yep.
or her soft goods rather. So I'm wondering if I can get away without a hot bath. But I'm still going to be very gentle with those joints. Oop, knocking things over. There we go. She is free from her plastic prison. And let's see, there's the camera. There it is. Try again, focus there.
The deco is so good.
It's
Is
very good.
is her arm bronze? Like, is it
She
the
has
armor?
one arm that is very, very bronze with that green. Nice contrast there, actually. That's great.
Mhm.
And then on the other
I
side, bare arm with that also nice green.
of all the factions, I find the well, I mean, my preference is for Xylona's flock. That's a well-known fact. But part of the reason is that green and copper and gold and brown, like good it's such a good palette to work with, and all the
Looks
figures
great.
use the same colors, just in different sort of combinations, and it just looks so good.
One detail I didn't notice until just now is on the back of her head with her little, I don't know what you would call those, her little gold bands in her hair.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how well that's picking up, but she has a big gold stag emblem right there.
yeah.
Stag. And it is so cool. But to your point about the colors, I mean, it's in all the factions, it's probably my favorite color scheme.
Yeah.
Um, it's so cool where you got these really bright metallic colors, but like having them be these cool metallic greens instead of just silver and gold.
Hmm. Yeah, they balance the metallics with like the sort of muted earth tones, which to me
Yeah,
is I've talked about I don't really care for black and red figures. I mean, there's a lot of black and red. That's an easy combo. That's
yeah.
it, but to me it's like too easy. And it's the Xylona's flock color palette is just so there's just something about it that just for me it's just a lot more engaging. I guess it's a lot more dynamic looking to me, but everybody has their preferences. I mean,
Oh, definitely.
if you like red and black, you know, there's multiple factions that you could get into for that.
So for the most part, the paint is very clean, but
Uh-huh.
on this knee right here, the bronze kind of rubbed up against the leg. I don't think
Hmm.
it's really picking up on the camera, but just a little bit of paint rub there, nothing crazy. But since I'm in that lower area, the CJ soft goods, they're so
Uh-huh.
good. Oh my God, it's wired all the way through. Where
Hmm.
look at that.
And is it sort of like a skirt? Like, is there sort of seemed like a loin piece on the front and then a skirt that wraps around the rest of it?
Yeah, that's what it seems to be. So
Mhm.
yeah, you got the centerpiece, what seems to be, I think it's all attached, probably
Okay.
in the waist area. But you got a centerpiece that's kind of separate, and then yeah, if it's a one-piece skirt that goes around.
Okay.
But oh, that is such a nice touch. I'm so happy they're using these soft goods now.
Oh yeah, well, once we do the unboxing, if we still have time, we'll talk a little bit about All Stars 5 Plus, and we'll talk a little bit about the soft good versus plastic debate that's currently sort of going back and forth about that. But for me personally, if it's wired soft goods, to me
Yeah.
that's the best of both worlds because you get shape and you get dynamic look to it, but it's still fabric, which looks really, really cool because you can move it, right? You can actually play with it. When it's rigid plastic, I find if you like the way it's molded, great. But if not, you're kind of like, I wish it was a little bit different.
For the wired
And then,
stuff, that's a photographer's dream. Like you can
oh
just
yeah,
do so much with that.
yeah, and yeah, and capes especially, right? Like when you can wrap them and have them kind of drape a little bit more than just sort of hang off. They like way less like a toy and way more like an actual cloak or a cape or whatever. I remember like the capes on like old 1980s um, action figures that would sort of clip onto the neck and just sort of be there, and you
Yeah.
couldn't do anything with them.
All right, so I just I pulled out her sword. That is a nice shiny silver on that. Maybe might even have a little tint of purple, or that just might be from my computer, but
Oh, I was
that,
gonna say, like, yeah, it looks like pearlescent almost.
that is a nicely sculpted sword, nicely painted too.
So that's the small elven sword, I think, or the short elven sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that looks really cool. The gem piece looks a little messy, but still not bad. And plus, I mean, there's like I have plenty of Warhammer paints, where if I was really upset, I could easily fix that within a second.
Right. Yeah.
But beyond that, got her little bag of accessories here. And I'll pull out the most obvious one because it is taking up all the room, and it is
Yeah.
so.
I want to see. Oh, that's so cool.
That is awesome, and that's a yeah very nice string on the bow too.
Yeah, I love that you can pose them in sort of a drawn arrow pose with that string. It actually
Oh
looks
yeah,
legit. When you do like that hard plastic, rigid plastic and a bow and arrow, like I think there's different lines typically do it with a hard plastic. Sometimes you can get it to flex a little bit, but you can actually get those posed out really, really nice.
yeah.
But those antlers are really cool. Is there actually more than just sort of one color to that? Is there
Um, it looks like
there like a wash to it?
yeah, there's a wash to it for sure.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think my phone can pick it up all that well, but that is a nice brown wash on that.
Hmm.
And then the little arrow it comes with, nothing fancy. I think we've probably seen this before.
But it's such a well designed arrow. You don't really
Yeah.
need to mess with it. Like it's crazy that it stays as straight as it does for how skinny they are.
And let's see. Next is the quiver, which I think again we've probably seen it before. Maybe the pattern on it is different, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, all the ones that I have, right? For some reason, maybe I just gravitate to characters that have that. But all the ones that I have are the same, and they just use different colors. But what's really cool is they'll match the arrows to the quivers. So
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
always sort of color matched, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's definitely something they did here. They got that kind of orangey color for the
Hmm.
feathers on the end. That looks fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, and whoop, nearly dropped it there. We got the wings. Those are really nice.
Yeah,
Really nice translucent plastic there.
yeah, I
Like,
like that they did. You have I think they referred to. I think Jeremy was the one that referred to like Artemyss version 1 as like the coronation
yeah,
Artemyss, and then this is sort of the battle ready Artemyss. So her wings are folded down, and she's got the armor on the one arm and all that kind of stuff. I'm really, really excited to get that figure.
and then we got the final piece here, which I believe that's
Yeah.
a shoulder pad, and it looks like it just pop the head off and you can just loop it around, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that gold stag emblem,
That
which is just
stag. Yeah.
so cool. Nice
It's
gold, nice green. It's just really well painted.
yeah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
really looking forward to all the stuff like that. Like it seems like this uh Aether was sort of the first wave where you started seeing more of these uniquely molded pieces, like unique to the characters.
Yeah.
This wave's got tons of it, tons of new parts. Um, I got in late, and sort of most of the stuff on my shelf is the pretty standard 1.0 bodies and the pretty standard 2.0 bodies, but I got in right at the right time because I now get to supplement with like all this new stuff, which is it's all new to me. But this is sort of new to everybody, so I'm really excited. It seems like a really good time to be getting into the line. So
Oh, definitely, especially when a lot of this stuff is still accessible too. Like, Big
yeah,
Bad Tech Store still has stuff. Mike still has lots of stuff. Um,
he
yeah,
doesn't have that much. I mean, the number it's he's got some of it. He's got a few left of some of the things. Like I know some of the numbers that he's going to release, and it's not as much as people think, and it's not as much as he would have liked, but it is what it is. So,
it is what it is. Yeah. So
but I
that
mean, it's sold out a lot of places. So
that covers Artemis. That's everything there, and out the gate. I mean, phenomenal figure. Like that. It's I'm impressed. Like I think the winning feature is actually the face sculpt with the paint.
mm-hmm,
They got some blush. They got the purple lips, the
mm-hmm.
green eyes, and it's yeah, she looks great. I mean, I'll try it again. Not sure how well it'll pick up, but that is
I
a fine looking figure.
it gets us hyped. If nothing else, it gets us hyped. So that's
Well, next I'm going to move on to the Baron Volligar. Again, we're talking about face sculpts. Oh, I'm in love with his. He looks so good. All right.
there's there's so much going on with that figure. With the cape, the soft goods, all the accessories. That head sculpt is amazing.
Oh
From what
yeah.
I've seen, like that scar across his face, um, a bunch of new molded parts. Yeah, the new pauldrons, the new Chad. I haven't opened one, so that's I've been avoiding some of the unboxings and some of the reviews because I'm sort of curious to see. I knew we were going to do this, so I've been waiting patiently to live vicariously through you.
Man, when these things got stuck in customs for a week, I was getting anxious because I'm sitting there thinking they're going to be here any day, and then they just sat in Ontario for 7 days, and I was like, why?
Well, I mean, you were I think like the first person that I'm aware of that got any sort of shipment notification from Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I posted it on the Cabal because I kind of figured a lot of our American neighbors already had theirs, but even they were commenting, going, "When? What? Are you sure? That can't be
Yeah,
right."
I think some of them were like, no, that's a placeholder. You're not really getting a shipment. It's just like you're like, no, it's like scanned. There's a label. Like, what do you?
And like, there's something on the move here. There's something going on. Here we are. Volligar is free from his plastic prison.
Ooh,
And I know everyone who's gotten it has already pointed it out, but that chest is
yeah.
incredible.
Now, is this one of the bodies where that chest piece comes off? That's the question that I don't know, but that was what was curious about.
Well, let's see. At first glance, it looks like it can. Yeah, I see. It's hard. Again, it's going to be hard for it to pick up, but I see a
There's a
line.
split there. Yeah.
I see a little split there. I'm
Mhm.
sure, like, I'm not going to try to pull it off. I'm sure this is going to be a heat and pop. But I'm quite confident that will come off.
Yeah, I know the Valak one does, and I know the Bardrick one does, but I wasn't certain if this was one of those as well, where it's and I guess that's just easier for them or more efficient to manufacture that way,
Oh,
because that way
probably.
they don't have to manufacture a full piece. They just do a breastplate that sort of matches and pops into the existing torso that they've already designed. So I guess it's faster to get product to market. That was my understanding on that. But it's cool because now the aftermarket guys, the 3D printers and the guys that are designing
Yeah.
stuff, they can design something and it no longer has to fit. You don't have to have the ball and socket for the torso to pop onto the legs, right? Now you just pop the chest piece off. It's a little square peg. So if you can't get the square peg right, um, yeah, you got bigger problems. But when it was like a ball, and when it was a ball joint, you had to get it to fit on. It didn't really work. But this seems to allow for the third party guys a little more ability to print chests. And I think My Action Figure Custom is already offering like 5 or 6
Oh, really?
breastplates.
Wow.
Yeah. They were just waiting on getting one of the figures, I guess, to get the measurements for the peg for the interface. So they
Okay, yeah, that
designed
makes
them
sense.
all, and then they just had to sort of adjust the fit.
So one thing I'll point out, and again, maybe this won't be all the figures, but so far with Artemyss and Volligar here, their joints are that perfect level of like they're tight, but like I'm not forcing anything. The knee just bends, the elbow just bends, the arm just raises.
No
Like
heat required.
no heat required.
No stress with your toys,
Yeah, which is
which is what
so
I.
nice. Um, but let's see if I can zoom in and point out the chest, but oh, the head,
It's
it's
so
so
good.
good.
And I don't think I noticed it till just now, but that collar isn't the collar that we already have, right? Those are bones.
Yeah, those are bones.
Ah, man.
Uh, and there's the back of his collar too, which looks like
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
that looks like I gotta look at turn around. That's a spine.
Yeah.
Oh, that is gorgeous. It's a bit of a glossy black too, which I like. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people don't like gloss look, but I think for like a vampire character, it works really well.
I agree 100%. Matte black for sort of um like a sinister knight, an evil knight is one thing, but I always think of vampires as um what's the word? Like I always think of them being like high class and sort of old money, and like
Yeah,
their gear is always going to be luxurious.
it's
And
ostentatious.
yeah, there you go. That's a perfect word for it. Like they live in the shadows, but but they look really good in the shadows.
So I just pulled out his sword. I'm pretty sure we've seen this sword before. I don't think this one's new.
Yeah.
I want to say Lucretia has one. I'm sure other figures do, but that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yes, she does. Yeah, I think it's called a long elven sword in
Yeah,
the the lexicon for Four Horsemen. That's a great sword. I love that sword. My only complaint about that sword is it's a long elven sword and it seems really big for 2.0 bodies.
yeah.
I'm really excited, and we'll get to this later, for the Xylernian Guard to have that sword, because now an elf in a 1.0 body can have that sword and it'll look appropriately sized.
It will look great. I just
I
want to point
love
out
love the sculpt of that sword.
they're two very distinctly different silvers, and I just love that.
Mhm.
This is like a metallic gray, even. I wouldn't even
Mhm.
call that silver. And it looks so distinctly different. Like this is clearly an evil guy's sword. This is clearly a good guy's sword.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. All right, the other bag of goodies. On a side note, he comes with 3 bags.
Oh, jeez.
There's the bag of
Yes.
all the basically the plastic accessories. There's a bag of fur, and there's a
And
bag.
Facebook user Jay. I'm popping back and forth between Facebook and sort of the YouTube here. Came with the Vampire Weapons Pack too. So both of those swords both came with the Elven Weapons Pack and the Vampire Weapons Pack, just
Oh, I
painted
see.
differently. But I love them. Pretty much every weapon in those two packs are basically my favorite weapons.
Oh,
I think we talked about that on a video. There's a lot of really cool. Oh, that's a great sword too. So he gets the long elven sword and that one.
yep.
Dang.
And I think it's called a Zweihander, a Zweihander. I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce
I'm glad you guessed because I can't remember what.
it. I don't know how many figures come with this one. In terms of figures I own, the only one I think came with one was Gwendolyn Heavensbrand. So it's actually
Gwendolyn has one.
it's really nice to have another one of these.
I feel like I have 2 or 3 of them, but I can't remember off the top of my head who they come with either. But that's a great sword. That's a versatile sword, I think.
Next, the tried and true, the Elven Shield,
Yeah.
which I love that the vampires get Elven stuff because I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure, like in the lore, they used to be elves.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's they are related. Which again, if we could get more of the mythology, if we could get more of the story, I would love to sort of see the interaction between those two factions because I feel like Xylona's flock, the elves and Xylona's flock, I feel would have um, such a difficult relationship with what is essentially their kind, who sort of went bad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the good guys always have that really conflicting relationship with something that is there, that is them but isn't them. I would love to sort of see more stories in that sort of elf vampire interplay.
here's his pauldrons, which are
Dang.
crazy, and just now let's put one down so you can get a better look.
Now, a couple things while you're holding that up.
Yep.
People have posted pictures suggesting that the wing that's on there matches the Phobos headdress wing. Now, I don't know if they're the same. Once I get both of those in hand, I will know that answer. But apparently they're almost identical. I don't know if it's like the same part that they've used in 2 spots or if it just is the same design. But the on that pauldron, there's the sort of bones and stuff. Does that mirror anything on the rest of his armor? Does it mirror like his neck, his collar piece, or does it?
Well, it looks like here I've got that kind of looks like, so that's a dragon skull at the very bottom here,
Okay.
and then that's another spine, which more or less matches up with his back piece here, just in different
Right.
color. That circle.
Man, there's so much design on that figure. Like
The
this wave
circle,
is just
yeah, like I think it's more bone, but I don't think it's spine, but like it looks
okay.
clearly bone. And then finally, little purple snake. I get that.
So much stuff going on.
Yeah, like it looks incredible. And I'll pop the shoulder pads on this guy real quick. Maybe.
Do you have you got any other figures on hand there?
Yeah, I got them all right behind me.
Vin asks, can you try a skeleton head on him?
Give it a try.
That's a pretty badass look. I'm not into skeletons, but I don't mind the skulls. Like
Actually,
that's such a good. That's man, so good.
that is so good. That's incredible. Okay, who do I have nearby? Good old tried and true Malleus.
Oh, that's a good one. Pretty neutral.
There we go. So easy pop. Ooh, oh, that's nice. That went in so well.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's good look there.
I like that. I have my blue Keltis head somewhere. It's in a box of accessories. I
Oh,
feel
that
like
would
the
be
blue
badass
Keltis
too.
head with the
Mm-hmm.
blue trim, that might
Mm-hmm.
look really good. And the heads, I mean, once you get around the collar, I don't want to say they pop off easily because that sounds like a bad thing. But once you get a grip on and you just pull, it's easy.
Yeah.
There we go. And like again, the head's not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But that was surprisingly easy to pop off. That's awesome. Now let's put Malleus's head back on before I lose that. Okay. I'll go with the cape.
The cape, yeah.
I think this is more or less what we've seen in the past.
Pretty
It's a
standard.
little different. There's a bit of a U shape at the top. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure
got
it
a
used to be
little
the straight across.
presumably to fit under the collar because there's more to the
Yeah.
back of that collar, right? So
And the holes are a lot bigger. Like I can already tell that the pauldron. Oh yeah, no problem. Don't have to try to stretch it out or risk tearing it or anything. It just goes right over.
mm-hmm.
So that's nice because I've had a couple figures where, especially at the top of the hole, when you try to put a pauldron in there, it'll split.
And it's not quite cut properly or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay said his brother Mandibulus took a header into the toilet today. The heat is real. Luckily, it didn't have fabric on it. It's hot. It's hot today. Jay's in Vancouver. You're on the island. I'm in Kelowna. I was in Vancouver this morning, so it's hot in Vancouver. It's hot in Kelowna. It's hot in Victoria. It's hot everywhere right now. So
Yeah, it's about, I think it was got to 36 degrees where I live today, or 35, something like that.
yeah, we were 36 here. I think it was about 27 in Vancouver, which is hot for them. And Vancouver always feels hotter. Like nobody has AC
Oh,
because
geez.
it doesn't get hot enough there for people to justify it.
There's the final piece, the
That's
fur.
yeah, that's a cool touch.
So let's see. I'll lean back a bit and see how well I can pick it up. So this is the shape of it. It's definitely not
Mm-hmm.
shaped like any other fur piece I've owned from Four
Mm-hmm.
Horsemen. Almost like a little tiny, tiny thong.
You might be onto something there.
I think the idea is just
Yeah,
boom, over and over, and it's just boom, it's on.
which is great. I like that it's easy. It's kind of easy to get on. It's easy to get off. So like
Yeah.
if it doesn't really work for a pose or if it doesn't really work for something you want to do with them, I think with that chest piece being interchangeable, I think multiples of this still make sense in a way. Like you could
Yeah.
still have the pauldrons and stuff, but put a more simple chest breastplate on there. It didn't take me very long to start looking at these figures and thinking like, okay, I'm going to get one, but how many more do I need? Because where am I going to use this piece and this piece?
Yeah. Also, worth noting that just based on the design of the fur here, it looks like it'd be, because I think in the promo shots they had his shoulder pads on with the fur, so it's clearly possible. But with how much it takes up on the back, I don't think you're going to get the cape on there as well and make it look good. I mean, I'll try at some point, but
I
as is, I think you're kind of choosing between the cape and the cloak in terms of display, which is fine.
I think you can get it all on there. I've heard that it's not easy to get it all on there. I think you got to go like cape pauldron like you normally would, and then that goes on after, and you kind of find room for it in between everything else.
Yeah, it's really, really soft, but it is definitely a flaker.
Coming off a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And that's just for me kind of just moving it around. I got little bits and bobs all over my shorts here. But oh well, that's fine. I'm sure you get the loose strands off, and then it'll be good.
Yeah, I find that too. That like because mine come off the shelf and we play with them. You
Yeah.
play with them a couple times. The loose bits kind of find their way to the ground and then into the vacuum, and then you're sort of good to go. I don't typically lose bits after the first couple times that I've handled any of them. So I found that with bryophytus too. The flocking. I
Oh yeah.
I I moved all the joints like as far as they would go as soon as I got them, just to sort of get that out of the way. Got some of that flocking off that just won't work for the articulation, and then I haven't had any come off since. So
All right, the final one, the one I would like out of the whole wave. This was the one I was the most excited for. And before Mike popped up on the scene, and we didn't have any Canadian retailers that carried this stuff. The 4 horsemen pricing for shipping was reasonable up to a point. The magic number seemed to be 3 regular size figures,
right,
where it basically, if you get 1 figure, it's $10 shipping, 2 figures, $20 shipping. So it just went up in tens until you got to the 3rd one. If you got a 4th figure, they would get rid of the USPS priority, and you would have to go with FedEx.
Oh, okay.
It went from $30 to $60. So 3 was the magic number. So I kept it to myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 3 figures, and I wanted to get the 2 faction leaders. And I was not walking away about Krotos. And the whole wave, he was the one I was the most excited for. And I finally have him. So I'm going to open him up. I'm excited.
Now, just before we do Krotos, because he'll be the last figure, can you show the card?
Oh, of course.
Because it's a new card for this wave. So.
It is a new card. Nice artwork of Illythia and a whole bunch of the characters on the side here. Krotos being at the very bottom.
They put the shortest figures at the bottom.
Oh, yes, clearly. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, Varg is at the very bottom. And he's a short guy. And I think that's the same artwork. I'm actually not sure. I would have to compare it to an Illythia figure, but I think this part of the card back is the same. But that's hard to tell.
Dragon with a blue skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Advent of Decay, so that's
yeah. So they keep that one the same, and they've been changing up the back. That's really nice. I don't know about you,
the packaging, or do you recycle the packaging?
I was actually just about to get to that. So right now I keep all my packaging. It's getting out of hand. So I am leaning towards recycling, just because I don't plan on selling my stuff, but if I ever had to, I don't see much price difference between a figure with packaging and without. I think a lot of people go, well, if it's been open, it's been opened, so whatever.
I think too, if people are gonna open it anyway, then you can cut down on your shipping. You can cut down, but again, I'm probably never gonna sell 95% of these. So if I keep the boxes for the figures that I like the least, because they're the ones that I'm the most likely to sell. But I think, like, for me, what I'm gonna keep is like the little the bio cards, and then a couple of each of the card backs, and a couple random bubbles, and that'll probably be it. Because it adds up fast.
Yeah, because you might get that odd person, especially if you try to sell where they really want packaging, and you go, okay, well, if I got a random bubble, a card back, and the bio card,
piece something together.
You can piece something together, maybe. But there he is. my most anticipated figure.
He looks like he looks good, like with nothing, like with no pauldrons, with just like he looks. Yeah, he just looks like he'd be walking around Castle Silverthorn, just Silverhorn, sorry, just advising people. People just hit him up for advice constantly. Like he just looks wise.
He's so cool. And again, joints are moving around great. There's no like, no, I'm going to stop there just in case. It's
Will
like
it? Won't it? I don't know. I don't want to force it.
it has that level of stiffness where like it gives resistance, so like it's going to hold, but you don't feel like you're going to break it at all.
Yeah, that's a very reassuring feeling when you have a hand in, or you have a toy in hand and it doesn't feel like you're gonna snap it
Yeah.
just by doing what it's for, which is playing with it and posing it and just messing around with it. So
One thing I'm going to point out right now with this guy, because another reason why I was excited for it was with the hands and feet pack. You can easily give him the boots. Um, and honestly, like you can, extra hands are great, but give him the boots and just swap before a dwarf head. Boom, dwarf. And with the reveal of the head pack, I just went perfect. I know where that head's going to go. So chances are I'm going to order an extra Krotos just so I can do that little swap because that's so easy. Just feet, head, done.
yeah. What I found interesting about the Krotos Deco is that his legs and his pauldrons, I think, are the same as the Silverhorn Sentry. So when people are talking, we're talking about like if Silverhorn Sentry makes it to All Stars 5, you could rock Krotos because he's already sort of. But I thought to myself, like he's already there, like he's already sort of like a captain of that
Yeah.
guard or whatever it is, but again, like that combination of the brass or sort of the dark metallic, the green, and now they're throwing in the orange and the green on Bardrick. Like it's such a good palette. It's just such a fun palette.
Good. Like, and with me doing the photography and the perk of living where I live in BC,
Yeah.
these guys have been the best for outdoor photography. Because literally just looking outside is my backyard and then just wilderness.
And it was, that was sort of what I was thinking too, of like of all the factions, they most kind of represent, like their color palette most represents like their environment too, being sort of woodland and elven and stuff like that. Like it works. It works so well for me, in my opinion. Like I said, like what you like, but I love that. I really, really like that little staff.
Is this the first time we've seen this on a figure?
Yes. The
Thought
staff
so.
itself was on the dwarf tribute figure.
Yeah.
But this is the first retail figure that has that kind of crooked staff. Yeah, as far as I know.
One thing I want to point out of this, and this caught me off guard. Well, it's soft plastic.
It's soft plastic.
It's a soft plastic. Now when it's off, that's a soft plastic.
Oh.
So weird. It can take a tumble and it will live.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why. I wonder if it was just, it would have been too brittle, too many small parts.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then one thing I didn't even think about is since it just popped off, like all the other staffs, that's the top piece is interchangeable. So I imagine, do I have one nearby somewhere? Let's grab Morgulef. I'm grabbing skeletons, so.
Yeah, Vin, speaking of the skeletons, Vin said that one give me Doctor Strange random sorcerer vibe too.
So I'm going to pop off the topper from Morgulef and see if it fits. It looks like it's a different size, but I could be wrong.
I think it's smaller.
It is smaller, yeah.
That
doesn't fit. That just falls right off.
That I thought about that too, because I know that a lot of the Poxus, like Poxus has the extra, wizard staff pack, and I think that's the bigger peg size as well. So there's still lots of interchangeability, but it's Swig has that staff as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see it. We'll see it a few more times in the future. But
Yeah, staff looks great. The soft plastic was a surprise, but nice touch.
mm.
All right, crack open the bag. Let's do the shoulder pads first. We've seen them before.
Yep.
But again, the color palette's just great. Metallic green with the bronze. Good contrast. Nothing we haven't seen already, but just still.
Yeah, it's the Silverhorn Century Pauldron, basically, which I think it's a great touch. I like that it's a callback to a figure that already exists, and it fits, you know. I think if they did all the, you know, figures in a faction with different pauldrons and stuff, it's weird, right? Like if it's effectively military issue here, you'd think that there would be some crossover, that there would be some similarities between.
Next is the hatchet.
I like that one.
I like this one too. One thing I don't like what they did, and they've done this with like this hatchet plenty of times, is the handle is like clearly sculpted to be wooden, but they made it that bronze. Yeah. So I'll probably just leave it, but part of me is tempted to repaint that because that's a pretty easy thing to repaint.
And,
yeah, I mean, it's still great.
With the texture that's on there too, I've seen I've seen and heard, you know, examples where people say it's like the easiest thing to paint wood, because you do one color and then you hit it with a dry brush, and the dry brush picks up all the detail, and you're effectively done. Like you don't have to work too hard to make it look wooden.
Back in my Warhammer days, one of the factions I used to play were called Sylvaneth, and they were tree people. And same thing. It was just so easy to paint them because you don't have to get in there and do like intense highlighting. It's just dry brush, done.
Yeah, the sculptors have done the work for you.
Yeah. Here's the accessory I was really excited for.
I love that.
That is so cool. Like that's like a good proper druid satchel with parchment on the bottom. The strap here is very rubbery plastic, so you can
easily reshape that with a little bit of heat too to get it to be sort of exactly what you want. Facebook user Jay said you are the only Canadian with these in hand. I think he's the only one that I know of. I don't. I know that like Ray in the group got Decibelist, but I haven't seen anybody else posting that they got them. There may be other people. I just have, maybe I haven't. I either haven't noticed or they're not posting anything about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of quieter or even closeted Mythic Legions collectors in Canada, but just don't post to this stuff at all.
Yeah.
But one thing that's really cool, since it's that rubbery plastic, I can get it on without even popping the head. Because I can just stretch it out that tiny bit, boom, easy. It looks so good.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, and it's those little bits, right, that sort of puts this wave sort of on a different level than a lot of previous waves, I think.
And one thing I didn't notice until just now is on the side he has little
two
holster things.
2 little loops, yeah.
Yeah, 2 little loops. So I'm going to see if I can get the axe in there.
You know, people always talk about how many extra belts they have. I have 0 extra belts because I'm putting all of the belt on figures. I love the old belt. And when there was figures coming that don't come with the old belt, I was like, no, I want the extra belts. But that being said, like the new belts, the new belt that comes with Bardrick and Valak, which is the same, just different deco. It looks like there's a couple 2.0 new 2.0 belts. Like Lady Averona has a new 2.0 belt. We'll get to that if we get to All Stars 5. If we don't get to All Stars 5 Plus, we'll do that next week.
There you go.
Yeah,
So yeah, weapon storage, no problem. I think if you're carrying an axe, though, I'd probably would put it in the other way. But either way, it fits.
what's cool with that belt though is like you can have sort of a samurai type setup, right? Like you could have a dagger and a sword,
Yeah,
or you could have a an arrow quiver as well as a dagger or a sword. Like you can now sort of have more of the accessories be carried by the figure,
yeah, yeah.
which to me is exciting. I don't know if it I don't know, maybe that's, is that a weird thing to be excited about, that they could carry more gear? I don't know.
I want to. I've seen reviewers on YouTube talk about it. But and it's something I always look for is 100% weapon storage.
Me too. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
If I can put everything on the figure and not have to worry about losing accessories,
Yeah.
great.
I'm always torn. Like there's that weird. Okay, this guy comes with 3 swords. What does he carry? One in his hand, one on his back. Then what do I do with the other one? You know, do I have to decide which sword is the sword that he uses, or is it? And then as soon as you have a few Mythic Legions figures, you realize you have tons of extra heads, you have tons of extra weapons, you have tons of extra stuff.
So I got the shoulders on no problem, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to. But I was looking at his hand, and I go, God, that's really small. I'm gonna have to really pry that thing to get the staff in. But I didn't realize they're
A
using a
little softer.
much softer plastic now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I let go, it's going to spring right back. So it still has like that stiffness to it. It's not soft like the top of his staff or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's soft enough where I don't feel like I'm going to break any plastic trying to get the
Yeah.
staff in. And boom,
Yeah.
just like that.
That's a tough balance, but oh, he looks so good. He looks
He
so good.
looks so good. That's incredible.
So in my head canon, he's gonna be sort of the old master, and Thistlethorn is gonna be like the young upstart. Like it's gonna be sort of like a master apprentice type of thing.
You know, I want to put them side. My Thistlethorn is a little customized with some extra soft goods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Do that.
I mean, you're not. So so Krotos is just a little taller, hey, because
Oh
he's
yeah.
a dwarf body rather than a 2.0. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's or they're like odd couple. Like it's like Krotos is like the old curmudgeon, and Thistlethorn is like the annoying, like slob kind of thing. Like I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna be. I can't decide. I guess I'll have to wait. I have to wait and have them on a shelf together before I.
That's a great duo right there. They look so good together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, that's photography waiting to happen. I love that.
Facebook user Jay says Cub and Wolf.
So
You mean
cool.
Lone Wolf and Cub? I think that's the reference that he's. And Snag's gear, just like total random stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
he's kind of like that, right? He has the axe, he has the satchel, he has the staff. I mean, he doesn't. But Snag's gear is yeah, you can't. I don't think you can get him to carry all of it.
Um,
Ah, they will look good riding the moose together, says Jay. Like a buddy cop movie. But buddy critters riding a moose in the woods in a mythical world.
and there's all three of them together. Again, a little hard to get them looking good on camera there, but more or less that's them together.
So first impression, it's hard to be objective because they're new, and anytime you get new ones, they're always going to be near the top of your favorites.
Yeah.
But as objectively as you can, where do these guys sort of rank in terms of your favorite Mythic Legions figures?
Well, I'll say as good as Krotos looks so good. And he's probably out of these three definitely my favorite. But in terms of objective, um, I'd still put them close to the top. Just because they have like with the new design and the adjustments they've made with like softer hands and all that for Krotos, looks amazing. Um,
Just being a little more unique and stuff.
yeah, but like
Mhm.
the sculpt, it's like that's
Yeah,
gotta be the coolest looking Mythic Legions figure I own.
yeah, that's a good looking figure.
Like, there's nothing that compares. I'm just looking behind me here because I got all my Legions right here, and they all have a good look to them, but just like the uniqueness,
He just pops.
he pops.
Yeah. Jay asks, is he a little taller than a dwarf? I don't have him in hand. You do, but I think the answer is yes because those hooves add a little bit of height too, right?
Well, let's see. Since we're on
You
the
got
right thing, I'll grab a bronze dwarf.
yeah.
Let's see, get his legs straight. Obviously, the big antlers are going to add some height, so just ignore those. But
But shoulder to shoulder,
he is a
yeah,
little
he's a little
taller.
taller. Yeah.
The hooves definitely add a little bit of height, which I like that actually. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. I'm really looking forward to brute scale because I really like having the sort of variety on the shelf. And the hooves are great because it makes 1.0s just a little bit taller. But yeah. So that's the three figures that you got. What other figures have you got on order? What did you order for Mike after you ordered those three?
So after that, and Mike introduced himself to the Cabal. I did my one small order with them right away. I got Bardrick and Illythia because when I was deciding what three figures to get, it was between those five.
Yeah.
So once Mike became an option, I'm like, great, I'll get Bardrick and Illythia, and it's the classic case of I'll stop there, and then kind of sit there and think about it, listen to other people's opinions, and go, oh yeah, that you're not wrong. That is pretty
Eight
cool.
orders of two figures later, you're like, that's
Yeah.
probably enough.
So far, I've ordered the whole wave except for the Centaur guy, Afarius, I want to say his name is, and Alder.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's kind of at the point where I'm like, I'll just get them and complete the wave.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. I think I didn't so I got a weird thing about vampires where I really like vampires, but I really like vampires. I
Yeah.
didn't order Varg and Decibelus because I can't get into those figures.
Well,
But
I decided I had to get all the vampires because with those pre-orders, if we count those, I own the entire faction.
yeah.
So, and I know Mike and Greg have a thing going on right now, but there's my Vorgus Vermilius, and I have a custom cape and everything for him. It looked incredible. And this one I got from Wyatt from the Cabal. There's Carpathius.
Yeah, that's a great figure. That's a great example of like if you hold him up next to the new Volligar, right?
I was just about to do
That's
that.
a great looking vampire. You know, Carpathius was a great looking vampire, but the evolution of the brand in terms of what they're offering, they don't even compare anymore.
Like, yeah, again, like you're saying, Carpathius looks great, but he's bland in comparison to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane. Like, oh, that's night and day. And like, nice purple and black chest piece. But then,
But
but, and even the head sculpts, like they both look great. And of course, you can like, I mean, Volligar's more unique head, but like even like his cheeks are more sunken and everything. It's just that's so good. Also, I look forward to the new vampire head as well in that head pack. That's going to look incredible on some of these figures. Like I look at Volligar 1 and I go, boom, perfect candidate. I'm going to slap that head on that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Jay says even the new shields are mind blowing that are coming out. And I think what he's referring to is the like 3D deco shield.
Yeah.
So we've got the Illythia one coming out with Gorgo. We've got the Leodicius one coming with Atlas. So in the 2-pack, you get 2 of them. And then Xylernian Guard comes with the Xylonus Flock one. Part of the reason that I need multiples of the Xylernian Guard is because I need that shield to go above the Silverhorn castle that I'm building.
Cool.
I was struggling to figure out like, okay, well, what am I going to put as like an emblem over the front door? Now I have my answer.
There you go. That's awesome. And yeah, like I mean, in my opinion, I think that's a good segue into All Stars 5.
You want to do it? We've gone an hour, which is
We can save it for another time, but I'm happy to talk about it if you want to.
Here's what I think. I think we're going to be talking about it until we've all got our orders in, until it's in hand, because this wave is phenomenal. As it happens, I've got that page ready. Do I? If I'm mumbling like this? There was a functionality in StreamYard where I could just alternate between tabs before, and now it doesn't give me that option anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, All Stars 5 Plus from Four Horsemen. They announced the last one on Wednesday. It went live for pre-order on Four Horsemen on Friday, yesterday. Pre-order for them goes for, I think it's 5 weeks. It goes into September. As soon as the pre-order is done there, they will open up pre-orders for other retailers online and in store, which means for us as Canadians, eCollectibles will have these as soon as the pre-order window finishes for Four Horsemen. Then we can finally get our grubby little hands on, well, figuratively, get our hands on these. We can get our orders in. What's fascinating to me about this wave is the diversity of what people are excited about in this wave, and I think you and I differ pretty well. I don't know. There's definitely a figure in this wave that you're very excited for.
Oh yeah.
That I couldn't care less about.
It's no secret. I was very vocal. Azar is happening, and I was so worried he wasn't going to make it, and
I think a lot of people were worried.
I was jumping up and down when he got announced. It's so funny getting this stressed over toys, but it almost felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders as soon as he got announced. Yes, finally, I don't have to look at $500 eBay ones.
Well, I almost, if there is any conspiracy in terms of what makes it into an All-Stars wave or not, if somebody said, this one was fixed and Azar was going to get in regardless, I would be okay with that. Because if you got Zazar in an All-Star wave and you've been sitting on that figure and you don't have an Azar, and they dangle this little banana man in front of you, it's like, you gotta have it. I would have felt bad for anybody that has a Zazar that couldn't get an Azar, especially with Azahazar coming out. You kind of complete the trifecta with this one. You'll have them all in your collection.
I also want to point out with Azar and Zazor that they made this guy.
They made Vorgus Vermilius. Yeah, that's there's history there. There's definitely interplay between different factions and different stuff that's going on, and I love that stuff. I really do.
I love it too. But just like that show is with all with Azar's on pre-order, me already having Zazar, me already having Vorgus. It was like he was a key figure for my collection.
Uh-huh. Me not having Zazar, me not having ordered Azahazar, uh, definitely don't have Vorgus because I'm way too late to the party to have him. Azar was just like, that ship has sailed. I don't need
Fair
that.
enough.
But they don't. It's funny because like I'm not a completist. I don't need all of them. I'm not. I have to. I have to at some point sort of pick and choose. And yeah, I could go all in and get one of each of these and get Azar and be like, okay, that's a cool figure. And I've got it in my collection. But I'd rather have two Xylernian guards, So that's I
Totally
kind of look
fair.
at it and kind of balance. Like I'm not gonna, you'd see people ordering, 8 all-ins, and I'm just like, well, for one thing, I could never afford that. But for another thing, it's just sort of like I don't know what I would do with all those. Like, when I think of army building, Mythic Legions, I don't think about army building one figure. Like to me, I think of like I love Xylona's flock, so I'm building a Xylona's flock army, but it's like 2 Vampire Legion builders, 2 Xylernian guards. If the opportunity ever arises, 2 Silverhorn sentries. Like I'm happy with 2 of each, and then it sort of fills out the
Yep.
ranks of a full army. I don't need 10, 12, 20 of one specific figure. Um, but I mean, but they look cool. When people have like a shelf full of whatever sort of builder they really really like, it does look cool. There's no doubt, especially if you get one that you can kind of customize or that's a little less. Like if you got a ton of Templars, right? Like that
Yeah.
that looks really badass when people do photos with like orcs versus Templars or something like that, or skeletons versus Templars, and there's just a whole bunch of people in the melee.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. But yeah, there's just certain ones we won't get too in depth with this. We'll just sort of like generalize. Xanathon too. I looked at Xanathon and I was like, okay, I like the idea of getting the wings. I like the idea of getting gray orc parts. I would probably separate them. Like I was thinking I'd get a couple of them and have sort of gray orcs, but then I was like, yeah, but do I need gray orcs, or should I just focus on getting more green orcs?
Yeah.
Like as a non-completist, on some level, it's nice because I can just pretend that certain things don't exist, like gray orcs.
Yeah, like for me, I say I'm not a completist, but I definitely am when it comes to certain things. I'm like I said, a completist when it comes to the vampires, but
Mm-hmm.
I also have all the Motu tributes except the Man at Arms one. So
Yeah.
regardless, even if I was like, I don't think that figure looks too great, I was definitely going to get the Motu tributes, whatever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like how they look. They're very unique looking.
My take on the tribute figures is that they're great figures. The deco is great, but they definitely have a different look. They kind of stand out, with a couple exceptions. Like I love Bryophytus. I think he fits right in, in Mythic Legions, because they're sort of less. There's less of that bright deco to them, that like you see figures with like bright reds, bright blues, bright whites that sort of stand out. Um, and they fit, they look like Mythic Legions figures, but they don't always quite fit into the faction that they kind of have to end up being part of, or whatever. Um, I have a bunch of them. Purplor is another great example. I love Purplor. Don't really care for Calros, because the deco on Calros I don't love, but a Purple Panther to me is works. A green one with yellow stripes doesn't. I don't know. That's pretty subjective and sort of that, but that's what I like. So that's what
Yeah,
that's
fair
what I
enough.
got.
And for me, like I like Purpler a lot, but I'm the opposite. I prefer Calros. I think he looks
Okay.
amazing. I love the bright colors. I think for my outdoor shots, like the bright green and it
Yep.
looks great. But you know, like you said, it's completely subjective, and that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great. People have their preferences, and that's perfectly fine.
I love seeing people's like you seem to see a lot of people that have been in the line for long enough that sort of have all the tribute figures. They have like a shelf with the tribute figures, and those shelves look phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like there's no denying that the figures look fantastic. Xenothon looks amazing, and a sort of skeleton spider. What is he? What isn't he? Who is he? What the heck? It looks really really cool.
Yeah.
I just don't need it, which is great for me because it means that I can buy a spare Dubin, or I can buy a spare Lady Averona, or Romulus. Again, I don't like Mercurians. It's a pretty easy pass for me. I get why people want him. Really hard to get, really expensive figure in the aftermarket. I can appreciate why people want him and what people like about him. But I'm the guy that doesn't love skeletons and knights. And Mercurians sort of fall into that for me. I prefer the elves, the orcs, the fuzz monks, the whatever Krotos is. I can't remember what Krotos is, but like I love I love some of the more fantastical looking ones.
Yeah.
Swig's fantastic. I love Swig. The goblins are great.
Which, funny enough, he's one of the few ones in this wave I might pass on.
That's nonsense. You'll end up buying him in the long term. You know you will.
I'll
You'll end up
probably
buying him in the long
cave,
term.
but he's definitely near the
Again,
bottom.
super unique character, lot of unique parts going on there. He's got a brand new head sculpt. He's got the new 2.0 belt. He's got CJ Jessup soft goods. I don't know. He's got a lot for him. Just saying. Um, I brought that comment up like a minute ago, and I didn't speak to it though. Vin said the reissue seems so underwhelming compared to the new figures, in my opinion. I agree with you completely, buddy. It's the All-Star stuff is cool, and there's a fun. It seems to be like there's a funny split where there's people that are absolutely over the moon by the 3 All-Star figures that got in, and then lots of people that are kind of like, yeah, that's great. I'm only getting everything else.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. I already told Mike what I want. I want 2 horses, 2 Dubins, 2 Lady Averona, 3 Xylernian Guard, and a Swig, and that's and a head pack.
Yeah.
The head pack's just fun. I mean, I'm just looking forward to more options, right? I don't love demons, but that'll be the only sort of demon thing that I have, and I'm thinking that demon head could go on, like a Sir Gerard body or something like that. You could do,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a demon body. It doesn't have to be a bare torso to pop that head on there. So, yeah.
I also love it comes with matching neck pegs.
Yes.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that until like yesterday, and I saw them and okay, well that solves some
Really?
issues.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring that up because that's that's a very good point. Like I said, we won't go too in depth with this because we'll save in depth like item by item for another time. But yeah, you get I don't know if they listed on here which neck pegs it comes with. Because I didn't read this little blurb. Total of 4 neck pieces. I'm sure at some point we'll get clarification of exactly which ones. But I also think it's cool, like the goblin head, the bog goblin head comes with both tongues and the helmet, so you get a decent decent options on there. Oh, there's the 4 head peg. So you get the demon head peg, the 2.0 head peg, the dwarf head peg, and the sort of standard 1.0 head peg.
Yeah.
The female head is great. I think I've already got a couple spares of that. The dwarf head is cool. The Jor and Runeshaper repainted head, great option for dwarves. A lot of dwarves come just helmeted, so that gives you an unhelmeted, well, it's still helmeted, but unmasked, I guess.
Great option for Krotos.
Great option for Krotos. Get your order in for another Krotos now.
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to give a name to this red demon. I feel like it's a disservice to this red demon to not have a name. I think I saw somewhere that people were sort of petitioning for there to be names for some of these heads, but I don't know if that'll happen or not.
The main thing worried about that head is I wonder how well the red matches with Belphegor, if at all.
It doesn't, but it matches the Krampus body.
Oh.
So the retail release red Krampus is apparently the same color. So that was the color that they used, which makes a lot of sense. That is a very good marketing move because you can still get that Krampus some places. So if you didn't get one, or if you want to grab a second one, if you want Krampus on your horrific Christmas shelf and you want this guy on a different shelf, you could get 2 and now separate them. I love the Jaguelian head. It comes with the tail. Now I'm going to have to try to find some bodies with the 1.0 bodies that have the hole for the tail to bang into. That's the most frustrating thing for me, but I really like that they offered that. I love the cats. Here's my nitpick. The black is so easy. I wish they'd done, a snow leopard or a tiger or a puma or something a little bit more. But I get that because they're doing the head plus the neck plus a tail, you're getting a lot of stuff there. They were probably like, let's just do black so that we don't have to paint all of those parts with all of that deco. It's economic. I think that's what it probably comes down to, because the rest of these heads have great paint apps and great decos, so you can't really. And the head pack's like what, $30 US, so presumably like
fairly cheap.
So I mean, I'm guessing 50 Canadian max.
Yeah, so probably something like that. Less than $10 a head.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Don't quote me. Mike's going to be like, no, it's a lot more than that. I probably could have asked him. I don't know if he's got final pricing for these yet, or if he won't have it until the pre-orders go up. But I'm sort of predicting based on price point, $50-$55 for the head pack. But yeah, like $10 a head, like that's cheap. You can't go and get somebody to like that's sort of 3D printed type pricing. So is it? I think it is, but that's unpainted though. You can get a 3D painted head unpainted for $10. Sometimes, I mean, I think they're more. I think they're 15 US, 10. Well, that's US, so that's where it gets confusing. Maybe they're 10 US, but then you order 4 or 5 of them, and then you pay shipping, and then it works out to $800 Canadian by the time FedEx delivers it to you. But we'll be able to get these, shipped for free in Canada with the rest of your All Stars 5 order from Mike at E Collectibles. So I mean, I'm loving it. I'm glad that I'm lazy and that I didn't customize a Balius to look like this. Because I'm not kidding. This is exactly what I wanted to turn a Balius into, was like this sort of heavy hoofed, the sort of more, I don't know how to describe it, like the more Clydesdale type legs. I don't know anything about horses, so I'm just saying words that are related. The sort of more Clydesdale type legs, and then sort of a black or like a dark deco. I really wanted a Balius that looked exactly like this. Now I don't have to get a Balius, now I don't have to sort of alter a Balius. I can get a Boreas.
And yeah, and just like I have Balius and looks phenomenal, and I was sitting here thinking like I don't need another horse, and I keep looking at it going like I can
Keep
pass
telling
on it,
yourself that.
but you know, that FOMO kind of takes over, and especially with their promo picture
So
with
good.
what's his name, Duban
Uh-huh.
riding the horse. That's like, oh boy.
Now, were you aware that you get a second main?
Now when I'm looking at that picture, yes, I am aware.
You get both. You get both the sort of at rest main and the running main.
Oh boy, that's really good for photography.
So what were you saying? You're probably not gonna get. You'll pass on Boreas.
Oh, I always feel like I
I'm.
gotta draw a line at some point, but I don't know where to draw that line.
I don't think it's gonna be at this guy. I'm planning to get a couple of these, and then what I'm gonna do to differentiate the two of them and my two Balius, I'm just gonna change the gear. So the harness and the saddle, I'll just change all that stuff, and then
Oh
I'll
yeah.
just and then I'll kind of have like two horse squads. I guess I don't know. I might like dye the second set of harnesses and stuff so that they're even different from the original sets. That's at least my
That's a neat idea.
that's where I'm going with that in my head at least. But who's your favorite in the wave?
You mean besides Azar?
No, you can pick Azar. Is that your number one pick for the wave? That's the one you're the most excited about.
Well, I'd say if I was told I can only pick one figure, it's Azar.
Yeah,
Even if he's not objectively like the most exciting figure,
right.
just for my collection, he's a must. He's a
That's a good way to pose that question, I think. If you can only have one from the wave, you'd pick Azar.
yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, it's Azar.
If you can only have one, can you get multiples of that one in this hypothetical question?
Oh hell, even at that point, I might change my answer. I, we'll just say
Yeah, because
only one.
you can only get one. Like you get one. Because for me it's Dubin or Xylernian Guard. If you can only get one, you know what? I think I'm still gonna go with Xylernian Guard for that shield.
That shield's incredible, absolutely incredible.
I think like honestly for me those two figures are almost tied in terms of like how cool the figures are. But that shield, oh, that shield, so good.
That's when they showed that off, I was blown away.
And the tunic torso too. I don't have any of those, and I've always really liked them. But the Templar was sort of the only one that's been available since I've been buying Mythic Legions, and
Yeah,
that one does. I'm not a big. Forgive me for all the Templar fans. I'm not a big Templar fan. But this one is phenomenal. And the pack out too. You got that elf longsword that looks perfect with this guy. A bow, that shield, like it's all of the stuff that I love. Uh, yeah, I think it would probably have to be. I think
I'm a
probably
big
have.
fan of Whisperlings, like the green skin. So the fact they threw in that as well, and plus you got
I don't love the Whisperlings. I don't have the
they're
Whisperling
so
head on
opposite.
any of my. Yeah, that's. It's. I'm gonna have to find somebody to trade the Whisperling head, not the mask, so that I can have like multiple uh elves. Like I still want to have the two masks, but on the same head, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
Oh wait, I'm buying two. What am I talking about? I don't have to. I'll have spares. Thank you, Four Horsemen, for making my life easier. The Whisperling thing. I don't know. Again, that's like that's like fury orcs or gray orcs, or purple orcs. It just creates more of a problem for me because it's just like, where did it go? Vin, can you change the face under the mask? No, but the masks pop off, so you can swap the masks. So the head and the mask are, the head has the face, but the mask can be popped off and swapped. Miko said the female head is the same we already have, though. I wish they did something different. It's a different deco. I mean, they're all repainted.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not. They're not. The vampire's not. But
Well, the vampire is the only new one. All of the rest are repaints.
yeah, and I think Jeremy said too that there's that it's not a new sculpt and that they have the mold. So it's never been released, but apparently they have like a catalog of already tooled heads. That Dubin head as well. Like the Dubin head is a new head in terms of it never being released, but they had it ready to go. So, I mean, what else have they got? If they're hitting us with this stuff, who knows? Sorry, I'm going back into the comments there a little bit. Miko also said getting that full wave for sure. I'm already thinking of getting bodies for these heads. Yeah, that's the problem with the head pack is that, you know, we now have to play catch up and add more bodies to our collections that we're just going to pop the heads off and not even use.
Yeah, luckily for me, let's see, at least 4 of the heads I have plans for.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I'm not sure about are the cat one and the demon one. But even then, I think it'd be too hard to figure out. Like the cat one, I might just not use the neck piece and just swap with Balam for like evil cat wizard.
I thought about that too. Yeah, I was sort of going through which knighted bodies would look really good with that head. And I honestly don't know. I didn't come up with an answer.
Well, I only came up with Balam because he has the tail hole, right? So
yes,
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. To run the tail, you're kind of limited.
Yeah.
I would love to see, you know, the 2.0 bodies all come with the hole. I would love to see in the future, like, more bodies just come with the hole with a plug, like an adapter plug that's just there so that it covers it in the meantime, because then it sort of offers more possibilities for doing that kind of thing.
100%.
Then you have to track down the
and maybe that's their plan, but they just kind of figure we'll throw in the cat head and people will just use it for newer figure customs, and just because they can just pop off the plug.
Yeah. I mean, you can always, you can always pop that piece out of another figure. Like there's a few figures that do have it.
Yeah.
So you could always go that route, but yeah. I mean, you're always gonna have too many heads if you have Mythic Legions. You're never gonna have, until they have a body pack. You're not gonna have the same number of heads that you do figures.
Yeah.
I was going through mine the other day, and like I don't have a big collection of Mythic Legions figures, and I've probably got close to 20 extra heads.
Oh, I believe it. I believe that
between
easily.
like helmeted heads and like second heads. You know, Mephitor came with that black goblin head. The Goblin Legion builder came with a second head. Like it just adds up so fast. Anyway, we could talk about this for hours, I think.
Hours easily.
But we've already gone an hour and a half, so maybe we'll call it at an hour and a half. And we could pick this back up next week. We same roughly the same time, roughly the same place. We could pick it up next week.
Sounds good.
If I can't promise that I'm going to go in depth about All Stars 5 plus, but I will be doing another video tomorrow, just on the, not in a Facebook group, just highly articulated for other stuff too. So I'll be talking about some San Diego Comic-Con stuff. I'll probably talk about this stuff a little bit. But yeah, that'll be probably tomorrow at 2 p.m. So if anybody's interested. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on Facebook. I don't think we had anybody paying attention on YouTube at all. But if you don't mind, pop over there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Even if you can, you subscribe and then not pay attention. Like, you can friend people on Facebook and then ignore them. Is that a thing? Can you do that on YouTube? I don't know.
Don't think so.
Too bad. I'd probably get more subscribers if you could. But anyway, this was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting my figures. I'm looking forward to you getting the rest of your figures as well. I think this wave is going to be a really, really fun wave. Are you going to get out and get some pictures of these guys tomorrow?
Honestly, yeah, long weekends. It'd be, especially with the sunny weather we've been having. Getting at the very least, I'll get Krotos and Artemyss outside, get some shots.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't really lend itself to vampires, but that's
No.
But you can do those after. You can do that tonight or tomorrow night.
I even have a diorama specifically made just so I can take picture of these more evil characters, because in my nice sunny backyard, it was never very fitting.
It was never as menacing as you thought it might be.
No.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's all we got. Is that all we got?
I think that's all we got.
All right. Thank you for joining us last minute. It was fun. It's always fun. Thanks, Austin, and we'll talk to you guys all soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye bye.